There are 36 heroes in Overwatch currently. That seems pretty simple, right? Well, when you add abilities into the mix, you get roughly 150 with almost 20 maps, creating for hundreds of thousands of different matchups and variations to each situation. Simply put, this is how Overwatch is kept interesting. The fact the game is so complicated is what makes it fun, but it is the same reason that most of you watching this video are struggling to climb. In our Discord at the Paz Nation, I typically just hang around in voice chats to answer any questions that come up from players at varying skill levels. A student that has particularly intrigued me and has summed up the theme of all of the questions I receive is Rex. Rex has extensive experience within competitive fighting games and their esports circuits. In these games, it is imperative that you are as analytical as possible when playing, hitting every combo and dodge precisely while maintaining preferable spacing. There's a lot of things that need to be accounted for, calling for you to analyze nearly every single movement. While this is true for Overwatch as well, the problem is that it is impossible to analyze situations when you don't know what to look for to begin with. Keep in mind that Overwatch is not a 1v1 either, it is a 5v5 game where the enemy team is likely not playing the same composition that was being played the last game that you were playing in matchmaking. Circling back to Rex, it was clear to me that he was a very bright player. He was asking about how high his APM should be, or actions per minute, how Baptiste should be played into a spam composition as opposed to a brawl composition, and how he could make his favorite character Zenyatta work in game when he wasn't playing Baptiste. Now I implore you to answer a few questions for me. What do you think Rex's rank was at the time of these questions? Platinum? Diamond? Well, what if I told you he was in low silver at the time of these questions? And what if I also told you that he oftentimes forgot Baptiste had an immortality field as an ability? And what if I also told you that he had less than 50 hours in the game? It was through this story, as well as countless other VOD reviews, that I have realized the problem so many players are struggling with that watch educational content. People like you that have gravitated to this video make the game harder for yourself than you really need it to be. It is important to not get caught up in the intricacies that Overwatch provides until you are absolutely ready for them. When I heard in another Silver player's VOD review that they were worried about their APM being low, I was baffled. We don't even talk about that concept in Grandmaster, let alone contenders. Do not get caught up in the details before you establish a solid foundation of the basics for the game. Reviewing the Baptiste example, I suggest players that are just starting out to not worry about who it is that they are surrounded by or who they are against. Instead, work on perfecting your understanding of what your abilities are and what they do first. For example, where and when should I use my immortality field over my regenerative burst? And how well am I managing my resources? Obviously, there is a very large distinction between how you should be playing Baptiste with a ball compared to with a Reinhardt, but if you don't understand how the basics work, you won't even be able to think through difficult situations like that without the help of a coach at the very least. The point that is being made here is that if you are clicking on these types of videos, you are different. You are unlike the people that are playing in your ranked games. You looked deeply within yourself and realized that you wanted to improve and be the best you possibly can be. So in order to do that, it is important that you are patient and give yourself time to truly understand the knowledge that you need to be learning. Overwatch is overwhelming, but if you break things into basic pieces, I am certain you will be able to figure out how different situations should pan out. To conclude what we have talked about today though, let me make sure that you understand this by a step-by-step process to make it simple for you. First, learn the basics of your character and their cooldowns. Then, think about what your character is good at and what they might struggle with. And finally, apply that to different situations. Make sure that you do not skip to this step until you fully understand the first two steps. I promise you that you are likely smarter than you realize, but that is the exact thing that is holding you back. Don't make things harder for yourself than they really need to be, and don't be ashamed if you're struggling. Many top 500 players today started out in bronze, so I can assure you this is possible. Take your time, ask questions when you need to, and if you want to learn more about different situations, consider watching some of the VOD reviews on my channel that might pertain to your character or your specific problems. If you have any questions about the topics discussed in today's video, let me know in the comments down below or on our channel's Discord that we have talked about earlier in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, but until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.